with each of these, there is a lot that we can gain. And with each of these, we also have difficulties. With today, the United States, the emergence of Pakistan as the joker in the pack in the India-U.S. relationship has emerged from nowhere. So we are, in a sense, back to the past.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to StratNews Global. I'm Nitin Gokhale. With me today is Pankaj Saran, former diplomat, former Deputy National Security Advisor, and now convener of a think tank, NatStrat. Also a prolific commentator on contemporary global developments. So welcome to this program, Pankaj.
Thank you, Nitin. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
So we are in interesting times, as they say, using the same term which has been used probably hundreds of times. But certainly very turmoil-ridden times as far as global politics is concerned. How do you see India's current state of affairs with relationship with the United States to begin with? I know it's a vast question and not easy to answer.
I think that's a question on everyone's mind.
Yes, exactly.
And I think it requires, it's the right time to discuss.
Absolutely.
I think we are passing through a really agni pariksha of our relationship with the United States. In a way, I'm actually very happy that it is a sign of India's maturity or maturing and emerging on the global stage as an actor. And in that sense, I think the party is over. We are out of the honeymoon phase. I think all eyes are on India today on how we handle this steep and sharp, I would call, deterioration in the atmospherics of the relationship. We've never really heard the kind of commentary coming out from senior cabinet officials about India from Washington DC in the last many years. So I think we are really at a very, let's say, turning point or a critical point in the relationship. But having said that, nothing is permanent in affairs of the world or nations. So this thing could flip also.
Because it is dependent on one man.
Yes. If you look at the reasons...
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you that. Is it about trade? Is it about economy? Is it about international relations? Or is it about politics?
So that's a question which everyone's asking, and the answer is all of the above.
All of the above, okay.
But perhaps trade is the least important part of it.
Okay.
Because what I know is that a trade deal was ready and is on the table with excellent offers by India which meet the satisfaction of US negotiators. So at a professional, technical level, we have a deal to the satisfaction of the Americans. And from an Indian point of view, some of the best terms have been offered and remain on the table. So I don't think trade is really the issue actually, despite everything coming out from Washington DC. I think it's got more to do with many other things, not least if we can cut the fluff. I think it's got a lot to do with Sindoor, with Pakistan, with the whole political situation. I also don't think it has anything to do with Russian oil. Two allegations have been made against us. Number one, that we are fueling the war. Number two, that we are profiteering from this transaction. The fact of the matter is that on the second part, just if I spend a minute, that the fact of the matter is Russian oil is not sanctioned by the United States or by Europe. It's not a sanctioned
petroleum products are out of the
product, right?
Yes.
So if you feel so strongly, you can go ahead and sanction that also. But you haven't done it for 3 years.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, the price cap was not fixed by India. $60 per barrel was fixed by the West. They didn't consult us.
Correct.
Number three, the discounts offered by the Russians are their own choice. Absolutely. We did not ask for it.
Correct.
Number four, on this business of profiteering, I mean, anyone would tell you who's in the business of marketing and economy, you make a profit because you have either a low cost or a high sale price. Now, in this case, the reality is that India neither fixed the cost because it was a cap of 60
Sure.
with discount given by the Russians.
Russians.
Nor did we fix the sale price because the sale price is determined by the consumers,
Sure.
which were in Europe and America.
Right.
So if a profit is there, it has nothing to do with Indian ingenuity. It has got everything to do with factors.
External factors,
external
absolutely.
factors. And of course, this business about India fueling the war is a bit of a joke because
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what happened to the 60 years of the energy imports by Europe from Russia? The Russian war machine was not built in the last 2.5 years.
Not at all. It's a
So-
deep and old, traditional war machine, really.
Yeah, so you're comparing cents to big money. I mean, so the fact that, and if you think, and if anyone thinks that by stopping import by India of Russian oil, you're going to bring Putin to his knees, it's not happening.
Well, he has other choices. I mean, let's assume for a moment, suppose it is stopped by India completely or reduced to negligible quantum. There is China, there is Iran. I mean, there are other people.
I'm
who are
not
going
even
to
getting
do-
into
Yeah.
what China is doing,
Yes.
what Europe is doing,
That's
what
right.
the United States
Correct.
itself is doing,
Yeah.
and more importantly, planning to do with Russia.
Yes.
It's an open secret today.
Yeah.
I mean, Western media is writing about it repeatedly,
Yes.
including Reuters,
Right.
that Exxon Mobil is in contact with the Russians on getting back the stakes in Sakhalin too.
Exactly.
So we could easily have a situation
Yes.
where in the next periods, the energy relationship, everything that we are being accused of buying
Will be restored.
is swallowed up by the
The West.
Americans and the Europe.
Yes.
And of course, in this process, the net gainer, as always,
Yes.
is our good friend China.
China, exactly. So that's a point which we can talk about later. But what is it that Donald Trump, President of the United States, looking at by doing all this repeatedly, claiming that he stopped Operation Sindoor, or he sort of negotiated the peace between India and Pakistan? Is it personal? Is it about politics? Does he want Nobel Prize so desperately?
No, it's a mix of all of this.
Okay.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that something snapped. I mean, look, everyone has said, it's on record, that there was no phone conversation
Yes.
between Prime Minister and the US President from 22nd April, which was the day of the Pahalgam terrorist attack,
Right.
to 19th June or whatever that
Correct.
date when he was in Canada.
Yes.
So between these two dates, and there is no contest on this factual
Yes.
reality,
Yes.
there was no conversation. So his personal involvement in this whole thing is to be judged against all of this. Secondly, what are we being told? That the Prime Minister of India does not have the right or has made a mistake in defending his country against terrorism. If there is a terrorist attack and if he has a commitment to the people that India will retaliate and will go after the terrorists and their masterminds, how is that an objectionable posture to take? So, are you trying to give protection to the terrorists, or are you, by equating the victim with the perpetrator of the crime? I don't think any Prime Minister in India can accept the proposition that I will continue to take the hit from terrorism without launching
Consequences,
or
yeah.
without a cost on those who are perpetrating.
Sure.
So, Sindoor and everything else was a very legitimate reaction. What actually we should have seen should have been a sanction on Pakistan
Exactly.
for actually promoting and instigating terrorism against India.
Absolutely.
But instead what we are seeing is this rather bizarre situation of being equated. And so I think the understanding of the whole dynamic is flawed. And of course there seems to be also some kind of personal issues at the leadership level. Although, I mean, in the past, the two leaders have actually had good relations and a good chemistry, and Prime Minister had actually gone to the White House in February
Sure.
to meet the new president, the kind of joint statements and everything else which were issued. But really very detailed. I mean, they talked about a $500 billion trade target and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, I think it's all got mixed up. But the American narrative doesn't really add up. Both, as I said, on the oil part, on the profiteering part, and on
Sindoor.
the dissatisfaction with the trade deal.
Right. Because trade deal is good. That's what the
Because
bureaucrats say. Yeah.
they have accepted.
Right.
And we have probably, that's what I understand, have given the best possible offers, including in agriculture and dairy,
By
to the Americans.
adhering to our red lines, of course.
Of course, clearly, with the red lines, but to the satisfaction of the Americans. So, when you break it down one by one, the current American posture, and that is why, because of this, the biggest pushback coming to the current American posture towards India is not from the Indian media, it's from the Western mainstream media. And they are writing day after day that this is a disastrous policy being pursued by the current administration against India in the overall geopolitical space.
Yes.
As to the consequences of doing whatever is being done towards India. Now, that's where we are.
25 years of hard work with which this relationship has been built after 1998, or 26 years, 27 years, has been threatened by this.
But I'm happy that it's a wake-up call for us as Indians, for our policymakers. And the
some reforms may be in the offing, ease
but
of
also
doing
the
business.
Exactly. I mean, the wake-up call is, look, don't depend on anyone. Don't outsource your security to anyone.
Sure.
Friendship is good, but be open-eyed about it.
Right.
Don't believe that all your solutions to your problems lie in one capital or the other.
Right.
Be careful, and it's a great course correction for India in the future. And one of those pathways is what you said about accelerating domestic reform, which a lot of Indians are now talking about.
And they will accept. I think if people will rally behind the Prime Minister and the government, if they say some hard decisions have to be taken, some reforms have to be done, industry has to be accelerated or energized, I think all that will happen.
I think so, because, we are on a path in which no one can really stop your growth for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Correct.
And this whole, charade of oil and all doesn't make any sense. I mean, of course we have refining capacity. I mean, we import 90% of oil.
Sure.
We have to have refining capacity, which was not built from February 22.
Exactly.
It's been in existence.
Sure.
So we have to also refine instead of just
utilizing that capability.
And wherever we get an opportunity, we export.
So, no, of course. Oil is not the reason. Clearly, it's personal, and because this president is very personal, and a lot of people keep saying this, those who watch the American politics, that many of the announcements are not backed by documents or agreements. This tariff, he is not also authorized under their law to impose tariffs. It's the Congress which has to do it. Yeah. So we'll see how it pans out. But the consequences that you spoke about, how this relationship coming under such tremendous pressure or strain will have geopolitical consequences. Is India now in a position to, or under pressure to talk to all great powers or the bigger powers, has to sort of have a, let's say, an equilibrium in the relationship with China, with Russia, with other countries?
So what the American-India impasse has thrown up is the fact of a strategic adulthood by India, that you really need to carve out separate relationships with each of these powers and pursue them, and to the extent that you can, make sure that they are not mutually exclusive or mutually damaging to each other, for the very simple reason that one of the comments made to us was that we are in bed with the authoritarians. I mean, who is Asim Munir?
Exactly.
I mean, who is, for that matter, I mean, Alaska, what was Alaska all about?
Right.
I mean, what is, so the fact is that there is a Russia-US rapprochement process which is driven from the top in the White House to the dismay and great concern of the European allies. That's one fact of life.
That's right.
Second is, everyone is openly talking about the tendency for deal making extending even to the US-China relationship.
Right, exactly.
So there is, nothing is off the table. It is quite possible and quite conceivable. It's no longer in the realm of the impossible that you could actually have a US-China arrangement coming up the next few months. So if that is the situation, then I don't see what is the difficulty or criticism if India were to also have its own independent relationships.
Absolutely.
And of course, we're doing it with all of them. With China, we have, as you asked, we have a problem with China. I mean, that's an
Sure.
open secret.
Yeah.
The Chinese know it, we know it.
Correct.
But, there is a methodology, there is a way,
There are phases of doing things.
There is a manner of improvement of relationships.
Sure.
And we will have contradictory trends in these relationships. And we have to live with them.
Absolutely.
We have to manage them because each of these relationships has its own dynamic and own history.
Multipolarity is the answer.
In a sense, but multipolarity, I would say, is a much bandied about word.
Right.
People interpret it differently in Washington, in Moscow, and in Beijing, and in Delhi.
Yeah, of course.
There is no single
definition like terrorism. There is no single definition.
Or understanding. Some regard it as anathema.
Right.
Some regard it as to be pursued at all cost.
Right.
So I think we should have a separate, much more disaggregated discussion
Sure.
on what India
Can
interprets.
do. Yes.
As a multipolar or as the concept of multipolarity. I think the fact of the matter is that different powers are jostling today for friendships, for relationships with each other, hedging against each other, and there is a future that is not that is more uncertain than it is certain. So you're also hedging not just against each other, but hedging against time. And trying to position yourself because you do not know what is in store or what is likely to happen. So I think the Indian approach, paradoxically and ironically, is something which it seems other powers are also pursuing.
Yes. Everybody is actually hedging and waiting and watching, and I think because the old order has got destroyed completely and the new order is yet to come, we're in the middle of the transition, if you would say.
I think so. I mean, look, so we started the year with a clear determination, and which I personally welcome, and I think the Indians all welcome, to find peace in Ukraine and to support President Trump's efforts, including in Alaska, and that you halt the war and find a peaceful solution and a post-ceasefire arrangement as far as Russia is concerned. Now, this could go in either way.
Sure.
And whichever of the two ways it goes will impact the global geopolitical system.
Sure.
When it comes to US-China, which is the other bigger relationship, in fact much more sensitive and much more significant.
Yeah.
You started off with a certain posture in Trump 1.0. Then prior to the election, you had a lot of commentaries by Trump and his advisors on China. And after his becoming president, you've had, again, many statements on China. You have many different groups within Washington which have different approaches to China. The economists, the business, the strategic community, the intelligence community. So this lack of clarity is very much mainstreamed in America's own approach to China. And again, here we have to be ready for either eventualities. Either
a rapprochement between them
or a deterioration in the relationship or a degradation in the US-China.
Sure.
Now the thing is, how much of it are you going to sit and watch and wait others to do? And how much are you going to do on your own, regardless of what others are doing? You have your own interests which are fairly well defined.
So I think interest should be paramount, simply.
I think so. I mean, I think interests are well known in India. It's not difficult to define India's interests. And I think our government and leaders have spoken enough to leave very little to doubt or to imagination about where India's interests lie. And we know this, we've discussed it, with each of these three. And of course, if we add Europe, we know with each of these, there is a lot that we can gain. And with each of these, we also have difficulties. With today, the United States, the emergence of Pakistan as the joker in the pack in the India-U.S. relationship has emerged from nowhere. So we are, in a sense, back to the past. So the question is, how do you have to factor this in? And how do you deal with this?
There is also the China-Pakistan factor, which we can talk separately some other time. But clearly, the first 25 years, as they come to an end, the first quarter century of this 21st century, we are in a state of flux globally. and we don't know which way it is going to go. But so interesting times, like I started saying this program by saying we are in interesting times. Maybe these times will get better. Maybe they'll get worse before they get better. We don't know which way it will go. But thanks for all the insights and points that you made. Keep watching StratNews Global. We will keep bringing to you interesting discussions like this. For the time being, it's goodbye.